My name is Lance. I'm a graphic designer and I work at Barclay Advertising. I think the role of the visual arts in advertising is really about, it's visual communication, and it's really about telling the brand's story and establishing, what they represent as a brand and how can we communicate that through their product, and really selling that to customers. In the field of, or dealing with new communications and media technologies, and making things instantly available, personally, I think that it's become sort of a negative in the sense that we lose this sense of personal connection between one another. On the flip side, I work in advertising, and it's definitely become a positive thing within the advertising world. It's required us to it gave us a new channel to communicate to consumers, and really required us to think differently in how day-to-day actions of interacting with the mobile phone and social media apps, and how can we communicate to these consumers on a day-to-day basis versus just through like a traditional print ad. So in the sense of business and advertising, I think it's definitely been a positive thing. Something that I think is repeated throughout my industry currently is this idea of trying to communicate to millennials. There are lots of brands out there that are coming to us sort of asking these questions of like, how can we communicate to this younger group who has not necessarily grew up with us as a company. There's many other companies. There's more competition these days than there was in the past. And so there are some brands that are struggling on how to communicate to this millennial culture. And so as sort of like a trend coming throughout our industry currently is how do we reach them? How do we advertise to the younger crowd? Is it, doing subcultures and doing urban culture and communicating to them through that? But it's really about getting inside, finding that the person that's already in there and sort of making them the lead. As far as visual artists go, I recently had an art show, and someone that I was looking at recently is this recent graduate by the name of Sarah Maycock, and she's got this really interesting painterly style to her. It's very gestural, but also there's a lot of minimalism and simplification in it. But that's a person that I've liked recently. Designer-wise, there's a guy by the name of Alan Peters who's an art director at Target, and over the past year and a half, he's really just begun to develop and showcase some really great work, award-winning work. So hopefully one day I'll be like that. I think what I've learned from famous artworks and from famous artworks in the past is that there's so much within the image, and the whole concept within that image. Everything has a meaning to it. There's a reason that it's there, whether everyone sees everything at once or whether it takes them multiple times to view it and then they see something different, I think is very cool and interesting about the visual. With design itself, it's like everything revolves around the concept or the idea. And if it doesn't, if it's there for no apparent reason, that whole idea, it just doesn't make sense.